What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a very interesting episode of the Father and Son Gaming News Podcast, right here on Active Reload Gaming. My name is Kobe, aka Kobe127. That is Kevin, aka Octane699. How you doing?
Shocked.
Yeah.
Totally shocked.
Hello, Bombay. Hello, Cherry Tomato Boy. Like Cherry Tomato Boy says, I'm sure it's a fun and drama-free Friday. Yeah, it is a great way to end the work week. Yeah, welcome to each and every one of you for joining. This is the Father and Son Gaming News Podcast, a bi-weekly. Wow, we really landed well on this week.
Wow.
A bi-weekly news show right now. You can follow us on all of our socials right here. You can follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, at Active Reload Gaming. We're also on Twitch and Twitter or X at Active Rel. That is with an REL, Active Rel Gaming. You can follow us on over there. And the top left corner is our Discord QR code. You can scan that and get into the Discord and start chatting with us and so on as we try to build this community with each and every one of you. Today we do have 6 news stories, but we'll see how the first one goes, how long it's going to go. Full disclosure before we get into it, for those who have watched and have heard me say it, but I do work at Xbox, but what I'm about to say and talk about, none of my opinions reflect the company in any way. These are purely my own opinions and thoughts as we kind of go through this, but let's just get into it. A couple hours ago, a bombshell has hit the gaming industry. Phil Spencer is retiring and Sarah Bond is resigning. And Matt Booty has been promoted as a Microsoft AI executive. Asha Sharma is named the new CEO of Xbox. This broke 3 hours ago. And we're going to pull from IGN, which is written by Ryan McCaffrey, as we kind of dive into this chat. Feel free to chime in about this, how you feeling about it as we go through it. Be curious to hear all of your feedback, as this is huge. Did not expect this, but let's just get into it. There's going to be a lot of reading to start as we're pulling from different emails, different people. We have a lot to go through before we actually dive in with our thoughts, but Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer, who has been at Microsoft since he joined as an intern in 1988 and with Xbox since the software giant launched its first console in 2001, is retiring. Sources familiar with the matter who are not authorized to speak publicly confirmed to IGN. Spencer's retirement is effective on Monday, February 23rd, in 3 days. Meanwhile, Xbox President Sarah Bond, long thought by many both inside and outside of Microsoft to be Spencer's heir apparent, has resigned. The new CEO of Microsoft Gaming will be Asha Sharma, currently the president of Microsoft's core AI product. Finally, Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty is being promoted to chief content officer and will work closely with Sharma. I want to thank Phil for his extraordinary leadership and partnership, Satya Nadella said in an email sent to Microsoft staff. Over 38 years at Microsoft, including 12 years leading gaming, Phil helped transform what we do and how we do it. Full emails from Nadella, Spencer, Sharma, and Booty are below. Spencer in his email to Microsoft staff said, in part, last fall, I shared with Satya that I was thinking about stepping back and starting the next chapter of my life. From that moment, we aligned on approaching this transition with intention, ensuring stability and strengthening the foundation we've built. Xbox has always been more than a business. It's a vibrant community of players, creators, and teams who care deeply about what we build and how we build it. And it deserves a thoughtful, deliberate plan for the road ahead. Today marks an exciting new chapter for Microsoft Gaming as Asha Sharma steps into the role of CEO, and I want to be the first to welcome her to this incredible team. Working with her over the past several months has given me tremendous confidence. She brings genuine curiosity, clarity, and a deep commitment to understanding players, creators, and the decisions that shape our future. We know this is an important moment for our fans, partners, and team, and we're committed to getting it right. I'll remain in an advisory role through the summer to support a smooth handoff. Sharma is a former VP of Product and Engineering at Meta and former Instacart COO who is also a board member of the Home Depot. She joined Microsoft in 2024. In her email to Microsoft staff, she wrote in part, "My first job is simple. Understand what makes this work and protect it. That starts with 3 commitments. First, great games. Everything begins here. We must have great games beloved by players before we do anything. Unforgettable characters, stories that make us feel, innovative gameplay, and creative excellence. We will empower our studios, invest in iconic franchises, and back bold new ideas. We will take risks. We will enter new categories and markets where we can add real value, grounded in what players care about most. I promoted Matt Booty in honor of this commitment. He understands the craft and the challenge of building great games, has led teams that deliver award-winning work, and has earned the trust of game developers across the industry. Second, the return of Xbox. We will commit to our core Xbox fans and players, those who have invested with us for the past 25 years, and to the developers who build the expansive universes and experiences that are embraced by players across the world. We will celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. It connects us to the players and fans who invest in Xbox and to developers who build ambitious experience for it. Gaming now lives across devices, not within the limits of any single piece of hardware. As we expand across PC, mobile, and cloud, Xbox should feel seamless, instant, and worthy of the communities we serve. We will break down barriers so developers can build once and reach players everywhere without compromise. Third, future of play. We are witnessing the reinvention of play. To meet the moment, we will invent new business models and new ways to play by leaning into what we already have. Iconic teams, characters, and worlds that people love. But we will not treat those worlds as static IP to milk and monetize. We will build a shared platform and tools that empower developers and players to create and share their own stories. As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be art, crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us. Matt Booty said in his email to Microsoft staff, "Looking forward, I'm excited to partner with Asha as our next CEO. Our first conversation centered on her commitment to making great games and the role that plays in our overall success. She asks questions, pushes for clarity, and wants our choices grounded in player and developer needs. That mindset matters as the industry around us is changing quickly, how players engage, how games are made, and how business models and platforms evolve. We have good reasons to believe in what's ahead. This organization and its franchises have navigated changes for decades, and our strength comes from teams who know how to adapt and keep delivering. That confidence is grounded in a strong pipeline of established franchises, new bets we believe in, and clear player demand for what we are building." Sarah Bond joined Xbox in 2017 following a stint as an executive at T-Mobile. This after both her parents worked in the telecom industry as Xbox corporate VP of Biz Dev and partnerships. She became corporate VP of Game Creator Experience and Ecosystem before being named president of Xbox in 2022. There was also a LinkedIn statement from Sarah Bond. So this was visible to anyone on or off LinkedIn. She says, "Hi, team. I know there's a lot of news to take in today. I'm incredibly proud of what we built together over the past 8+ years. PC and cloud gaming are growing faster than ever. Our next console is well underway, and together we've helped lay the foundation for a more open gaming platform that spans devices and reaches players around the world. When we announced our intention to acquire Activision Blizzard in 2022, I committed to helping lead Xbox through what would be a critical period of change. Over the past 4 years, we've navigated that moment together and positioned the business for what comes next. We took on some of the biggest challenges this organization has ever faced and did it as one team. With that, I've decided this is the right time for me to take my next step, both personally and professionally, where we're living through a transformative technological era that will shape the next generation of our industry, and I'm energized by what's ahead. This moment also presents a unique opportunity for fresh eyes and new leadership to guide the team into its next chapter. I've had the privilege of spending time with Asha over the last few weeks as we've planned for this transition, and I've seen firsthand her deep commitment to our players, developers, and brand. She brings deep technology and commerce experience along with a strong track record of building and scaling platforms that the world uses. Xbox deserves this. I'm excited to see her lead this next chapter for our team. I'll remain on as a special advisor to Asha to help ensure a smooth transition and set the organization up for continued success. I want to thank Phil for his mentorship and friendship over the years. He's been a consistent champion of this business and the people who make it what it is. And I've learned a great deal from the way he leads through both opportunity and challenge. I'm grateful for his trust and support throughout my time on the team. I also want to thank Satya for his sponsorship and support through my time at Microsoft. As I prepare to sign off, I've been reflecting on 3 simple questions I've tried to use to guide my days. Did I bring my best? Did I help someone else succeed? Did I do my best work? I hope the answer has been yes for many of you. It's been a privilege to work alongside this team. Always, Sarah. So we've gone through all the information, all the emails. There's a lot to take in. Let's just start at the top. Phil Spencer retiring. How are you feeling about this?
Well, I honestly believe that Phil Spencer didn't retire. If you started as an intern in 1988, you joined the Xbox team in 2001. I think, was it 2022 he became CEO?
No, that was long before that.
Check that.
I will check that.
2022, I thought he became CEO of Microsoft Gaming.
He took over as head of Xbox in 2014.
Okay, when did he become CEO?
It's 2022. Yeah.
Okay. And now we're in 2026. You've been with the company since 1988, and there's no fanfare. Like, I'm talking business now. Like, you can't be part of a company that long, be the CEO, and get an email on Friday saying my last day's on Monday. There's no fanfare. There's no, Xbox podcast out there wishing him the best, thanking him for his time. And then business talk. You can't have his successor, Sarah Bond. Oh, I'm out. I'm leaving too. There's something going on behind the scenes. Now, just again, it's an opinion, business 101. If we kind of take a look at Microsoft in a whole, stepping on Xbox saying, oh, you got to be 30%, revenue more this year and everything else. And you take a look, basically it was Phil Spencer spending $70 billion for a company in 2023, and they haven't seen any benefit from it yet. Call of Duty was this worst Call of Duty that was launched. You're not seeing that. I think that he was let go. I think that Sarah Bond, the successor, got a slap in the face by saying, hey, you're not the successor. And she's like, I'm dipping, I'm out. And then have this step in. That's my hunch, just understanding business, that's what's happened. And let me tell you,
I will say this. I definitely expected Phil to retire soon. I would have thought after the 25-year anniversary, though. I thought it would, like, if it was like going to continue, I would at least thought next year or maybe after the new console launches that he was going to retire.
There was that rumor, and I think that rumor came out from him at some point. It might have been 2 years ago on IGN. I thought I saw it, that he had said that I might step down after the next console release. And but again, you just don't have that longevity in a company, and they do you dirty like that you're out. If you're retiring. I think they let them save face to step down, but that's my hot take on it. I know nothing about this Asha that's stepping in.
So we'll get to her in a second. So that's like your business side of things. From a personal feeling, how are you feeling? Because you are two sides of a person. You always come out with a business mind, but now I want to talk to you as the gamer mind, because so much of Xbox's identity has been putting forth this leadership team, interacting with the fans. So much of Xbox had the identity behind Phil Spencer. He led us into what is current day Xbox, and he was always interacting with the fans, making Xbox try to feel like a big community of friends and everything. So from a gamer perspective, how do you feel about this shocking news? Because he's been the face of Xbox for so many years now.
Well, again, when you look at him, you look at any face of any company, a gaming company, Phil Spencer was always a man of the people. He was, at the end of the day, he was a gamer. You would always see him on Xbox Live playing the whole 9 yards. So from a fan perspective, I'm not going to lie, that I was a fanboy of him.
Yeah.
But
And I met Phil multiple. He was one of the nicest guys that I have met and talked to. He was always welcoming to everyone. Yeah, he was just really humble, really great person to talk to, and he made you feel like listened. Like especially like when like someone's like high up, it's very hard to talk to people, and he just made it very easy. Whoever you were, fan, employee, etc. He was always easy to talk. I mean, one of my tweets that blew up when I first joined Xbox, it's in the intro video for the other podcast that we do, is him in a chef's outfit because he was doing a charity event where him and the leadership were cooking pancakes for employees, and I got my picture with him. And yeah, he was just a great person to talk to. So it is a little sad to see him depart so quickly. Like in 3 days, he's departing and is no longer the face of Xbox.
now, again, I'm putting my business hat on, and I've been saying to you over the last 2 years, I thought that he was taking Xbox in the wrong
Mm,
direction. I voiced that to you numerous times. You saw all the stuff. You go back 5, 10 years ago, and he made comments that games sell consoles, and then within the last 2 years, he came out and says, "Well, games don't sell consoles." Which is an interesting thing, and I don't mean to jump ahead in the agenda, but Sasha coming in,
Asha.
Asha coming in,
Yeah, her
it,
statement is very contradictory of what Xbox has been doing.
that's lip service.
Yeah.
She's coming out, and that was corporate mumbo jumbo. That she's just saying what she thinks the community wants to hear.
Yeah.
That's corporate mumbo jumbo. But here's the big thing: is she going to unring the bell of releasing all of the Xbox games on other
Well,
platforms?
that's what I'm saying. Her whole statement here is very contradictory of what Xbox has been
Correct.
doing, because we can start jumping into Asha's statement now. So obviously her first pillar that she wants to do is understand what makes this work and protect it. She says she has three commitments: great games, unforgettable characters and stories, and she wants to empower developers to lead art because she wants to deliver award-winning work. So her first step is making great games. Her second thing is she wants to recommit. I think this is the most interesting paragraph of the whole statement: is recommitting to our core Xbox fans and players, for those who have invested us with over the past 25 years, and to the developers who build the expansive universes. She wants to celebrate our roots with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with console, which has shaped who we are. I think that is such an interesting statement in this whole statement, because like you said, is it going to undo everything that has already happened, that they have been building towards, which is releasing the floodgates and putting everything on all these platforms? But then again, like once the bell has been like rung, like I think it's asinine to unring it. Like at this point, like, because you need a reason to buy the hardware, and it has been proven that exclusives do push hardware to some extent. But like the messaging has been so confusing for so long that at this point, like, you just start from ground up.
But see, I don't think that the hardware that they're looking for, in theory, of what they're looking to do, I think that's the brilliant part of it. Coming out with a console that you can do Steam, you could do, Epic Store on, you could do Game Pass. Where I think that's brilliant is there's never is a strong word, because you could do a couple different things, but has never really been a console that you can hook to your television that drives like a PC. I think there was a niche there that could take off and really explode there. So I thought that was one of the brilliant parts about it. Jumping back and abandoning the identity and doing the Xboxes everywhere. That's where I think they were faltering with it. But you I said that you can't unring the bell. That's what the stuff that's out there. But she can put a line in the sand and say, look, what we did cross platforms out there, we're not going to do we're not going to put it to other platforms for a memoriam of a year on the Xbox or something, just like the playbook that the PlayStation's
I mean,
trying to do.
another one is like if you're gonna have a multiplayer game, you put it everywhere, but their single player games stay to their platform. Like there's ways you can go about. But and the third thing that I want to focus on her statement here is she does not want to chase short-term efficiency or flood the ecosystem with soulless AI slop. And I think that is I did not expect a CEO to call AI slop, which, good on you for also being the head of AI, like core AI, and saying, yo, AI slop's the thing. Like, but I guess to you at this point, is this all just what we want to hear?
It is.
Like,
I said that from the beginning. Again, I've been in the corporate world for 37 years. There's corporate slop that comes out. Somebody wrote this. Somebody's got to try to stop the bleeding that's coming out. And the easiest way to stop the bleeding, and it's a political thing, is tell the people what they want to hear and keep it generalized. Because then what happens when you keep it generalized is exactly what you and I are doing. We're trying to read between the lines, and we're trying to keep it, to the perspective of what we want to see happen. That's corporate jargon. That's what they're doing now. Again, let's get this on the table. I love Phil Spencer, but at the end of the day, I want to see her succeed. I want to see her follow through.
I mean, I want,
her
obviously, like, I hope everything succeeds. Like, I want nothing but the best for Xbox. I mean, I've bled green since childhood. Like, this is, who I've been as a gamer. Was I love Xbox so much, and like I always wanted to make a difference by working and being in the games industry. So like, I really hope that everything that is spoken here comes to fruition in some sort of passion. I don't know. I really don't know what this is going to be, but this is such a shakeup that I never thought was going to happen, because I really did think Sarah Bond was taking over. And yeah, I mean, what do you want Xbox to do from here on out?
Well, here's where.
And I guess, are you worried, like in your vision, do you think Phil was the shield between Microsoft and Xbox as a gaming like monolith? And do you think we're going to see a drastic change within the flow of the industry within Xbox? Like, is it going to become more Microsoft at this point?
Well, here's the statement I was going to make, which kind of answers what you're asking me. The thing that's a little perplexing is in her statement, the one she says, and I'm paraphrasing, that they're not going to be looking for short-term gains.
Short-term efficiency or flood the ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be art.
So does that now necessarily mean, this is kind of answering your question with some statements, does that necessarily mean that Microsoft is not going to hold her to the 30% increase in revenue in 2026?
I mean,
because if you don't pump the stuff out, you're not going to get to the 30%. So you're set up to fail. So did they set Phil Spencer up to fail with that? Now she's stepping in and the rules aren't going to apply because she's rebuilding?
I have no idea.
Because that's huge. Because let me tell you, to say, and again, you may or may not know this in the corporate world, but when you're the size of Xbox, to say that you have to have a 30% increase in 1 year is next to impossible. To say a 5% increase, 7% increase, that's reality. But a 30% increase, just so it sinks in, that is next to impossible to achieve. You would have to cut 99% of the staff, and you would have to sell every one of your IPs that come out at the better than it ever sold to even get close to a 30%. So that's my question. Does the 30%, which came from the board, the board of Microsoft, that wasn't even Xbox, that was the board of Microsoft that said the Xbox division in 2026 has to see a 30% increase. Is that going to hold with her?
Yeah, that I don't know. I don't know what those conversations will look like.
Sure. It's rhetorical, but it's At the end of the day, everything she's saying there will never happen if she has to do a 30% increase.
I mean, at this point, this next 2 years is going to be such a crucial moment for her and Xbox as a whole. I think we had such good momentum coming into 2026 with Xbox. We have the big four coming out this year. The pillars were finally set up. The dominoes are ready to fall with Fable, Gears, Forza, Halo. And then you have your Call of Duty. You have a new Double Fine game. And sprinkle in whatever else they might have going on, smaller or big. Now this has become such a drastic change that it really puts kind of sour taste on the 25 years, because it almost it I assume a lot of people and gamers, and when I say gamers, I think the people who are tapped into like online discourse and the industry, like I don't know if the average person knows who the hell Phil Spencer or any of this situation is, but the people who are specifically watching this, but I wonder like how the general sentiment is now with the community of Xbox. Are they doom and gloom? Are they optimistic? I'm gonna remain optimistic. I feel like we have to have some sense of optimism in this world. Like we can't all on pessimism just yet, because she's not proven yet. We don't know what she's going to do, what her management style is going to be like, what her vision is, because this is just day one. Like we only have an initial statement. It's going to take a year to 2 years to really see what she is all about. And it's going to be such a crucial moment. And her leading us into the next generation is going to be, I think, the writing of what Xbox is going to be moving into the future.
But the thing is, change could be good and change could be bad. That's what you don't know. So whenever the human nature is when change is implemented, it people right away tense up and say, "Oh, I don't want to change it." I'm hoping it's for the best, but let's be honest, and I've told you this off air numerous times. The last 2 years more than anything, I think Xbox was turning in a direction that wasn't good for Xbox. So maybe she's going to step in and turn it back the right way. Who knows? But again, it's like I say, I hope she knocks this out of the park. I'm rooting for her. Um, I can sit here and tell you a handful of things where I love Phil, but I can tell you the other handful that I think he was hurting the brand. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, is the brand. And
Yeah.
I think the brand lost its identity. I think the brand was pushing itself in a way that wasn't what people knew and loved about Xbox. So I just think that the brand lost its way, and hopefully she'll get that brand back. I laughed. I saw earlier in the podcast where Bombay had said, bring Balmer back. Well, I know
Developers,
that's
developers, developers.
it's tongue in cheek, but I think you need to go back to him more than anything and say what made the 360 era the success. And I think you have to do that in the simplest statement that made that the success. It was, the games and the gamers were at the core.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, is you need to get back to the games and the gamers and make that the core. We watched how Xbox fell off, its pedestal coming out of the 360, because why? They switched the focus from gamers to the television and everything else that the console can do. Look at history you can learn from, and that's the biggest thing that they never really recovered from. So if she's going to step in, and again, Bombay, I know you kind of joked there, but I think it's a really true statement. Go back and see what Bomber did to make that 360,
Well, that
and see if
was
you can capture that lightning in a bottle again.
hang on. Who was the head of the 360? Because wasn't I know Ballmer was around. I'm just drawing a blank on his name at the moment because he was
I thought
crucial.
I thought Ballmer was the
It
driving
was
force of the
Peter
360.
Moore.
Peter
Peter Moore
Moore,
was the driving force, and then
force.
Don Matrick took over, and that's what happened with the Xbox One era, and that's
Correct.
when, and then Phil Spencer took over.
Yes.
So it was a very rocky road, but I mean, Peter Moore was at the
Peter
heart
Moore as
and
well.
soul
Yes.
of the 360, and kind of made it what it was.
Yeah. Nope. I agree, and I take that it's Ballmer and Moore.
Yeah,
But
but
that's what they need to do. They need to put the games and the gamer back in the center of it.
yeah, I mean, we're going to see over the next year to 2 years of what this is all going to look like. I hope for the best with any of this. You know, like you said, change can be good. So let's hope that this change is good. And you know, me as a human, if I'm going to take these words at face value, like yeah, like it's everything that I want to hear. Let's hope that you live up to what you're saying, and let's get Xbox back on track because Xbox could be number one. We have all the pieces for it, but we have to execute on it.
But see, one of the big things that I can't stand, and I watch the internet just like everybody else, and oh, Xbox is dead. Xbox is dead. At the end of the day, they're the number one game producer in the world. They're not dead. They just were changing, and you could say they're going to go the way of Sega or they're going to do this, but there's a massive difference between when Sega got out of the hardware game and just produced software. That's when consoles were just ramping up to be at the pinnacle. So I don't look at the path that Xbox could take as the same as Sega. That always drives me nuts when I hear them say it's going to be Sega, it's going to be Sega. It's not. Now, Microsoft could do one of two things. They can get behind her and say, look, we're gonna give this one good full shot, or they just say, look, we're gonna shut everything down and we're gonna sell off every studio that we had. But one of the biggest shortfalls, and I've said this to you before, that I think Phil Spencer did not bring, is I felt that with the portfolio of studios that Microsoft owns, he never unified them. It seemed like everyone still ran as their own studio and not Microsoft or not Xbox. And I think that's wrong. When you bring in different companies now, I'm talking again corporate, you still have to bleed green first and then be Bethesda, bleed green first, then be Activision, bleed green first, and then, be whatever. I don't think I don't think that I have ever seen any of these studios give up their identity and say they're Xbox. And I
I
think
mean,
that's a mistake.
I think it's good to still have identity because I think when you get in too much consolidation, it really hurts that company because like I think so much of like we're going to use Bethesda example, like so much of Bethesda's identity is it is a Bethesda game, not an Xbox game. It is a Bethesda game, and you know what that means. So I think still keeping the identity and the artistry behind it is good, but I think from technical perspectives on behind the scenes, like
Correct.
I think having a unified engine would have made sense to help streamline game development process. I think having, you
Shorten
can
time.
XYZ, like, yeah, because AAA takes so long. So, like, maybe focusing on smaller projects, like, forcing like some of like, the remakes you've always talked about, like having Obsidian go do Fallout again or something like that. Like, I think having the sense of individualism is needed because that is what defines that game. But having the technical prowess and what the mission is should have been unified behind the scenes as well. So I think
I,
it's
I would agree.
yeah, so I think it's a twofold answer that's just like you can't just say, oh, Unity. Like I think there is some caveats to it. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know where to go forward with this because at the end of the day, we're just gonna have to wait and see. It is sad to see this, because it has been he's been around for so long. But I do hope Asha ushers us into a whole new generation. I hope it's good. And we can move forward. But this isn't the only sad news of the week for gaming, because we also have the PlayStation side doing some sad things as well, which Blue Point Games, which is the remake kings, as they've been so called, has been closed as the fallout from PlayStation disastrous pivot to live service continues. This comes from PC Gamer and is written by Andy Chalk. Sony has confirmed a Bloomberg report by Jason Schreier saying that Blue Point Games, the Sony-owned studio known for its remasters of games including Shadow of the Colossus and Demon's Souls, is being closed this March. The shutdown will reportedly result in roughly 70 people being put out of work. Following a recent business review, the decision was made to close Blue Point Games in March, a Sony representative told PC Gamer. Blue Point Games is an incredibly talented team, and their technical expertise has delivered exceptional experiences for the PlayStation community. We thank them for their passion, creativity, and craftsmanship. Based on the description alone, you might think Blue Point would be a team worth holding on to. It's not just empty words. There's a long history there. The studio was founded in 2008 and handled the PS3 remasters of God of War and God of War 2, which were released the following year. Numerous other remakes followed over the years, most recently the 2020 update of Demon's Souls for the PS5. And Sony acquired Blue Point in 2021. And then Blue Point was apparently working on a live service God of War game, but Sony pulled the plug on that and several other projects following the disastrous release of Concord. Sony said in 2022 that it wanted to release 12 live service games by 2025, but by the time 2025 rolled around, it had canceled 8 of the 12 projects. So what are we doing here? What is this industry doing at this point? Blue Point was such an incredible developer. They were the remake remaster kings. Like Demon's Souls is an incredible project that they did. Shadow of the Colossus on PS4 was incredible. You had such an easy layup to make money with them. Remakes and remasters are cheap and they make a lot of money for studios. And if like the writing was on the wall for Sony, everyone's been clamoring for a Bloodborne remaster remake. Like if you really wanted money, you could have just pulled them into that. Like, I don't know why when you buy a studio for its expertise, you look at them and go, you know, it'd be good, a live service God of War game, something that nobody wants, to be honest, because God of War is a rich, story-driven single-player game. Like, no one was asking for a live service game. I don't know. This is also very frustrating because Sony, this entire generation, has continued to push this live service agenda, which has continuously backfired. And we're on the imminent release of Marathon in a couple of weeks, and I am very curious to see how that pans out, because at this rate, if Marathon doesn't hit Sony's expectations, I'm honestly worried for Bungie too. Like at this point, like when does the damage stop is my question, because so many people are being put out of jobs, and it is so frustrating because this tech industry and games industry is continuing to spiral out of control, and we are really entering such a dark age that's going to be a while for us to see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's going to be one. We're going to get back to it, but it's just, I really don't, like, I told you this on the phone the other day. Companies need to stop trying to replicate the success of Fortnite because you can't. Fortnite was a lightning in a bottle that ended up hitting hard. Like, a way a game succeeds isn't a replication. It is a fresh new idea or something with passion, and it will speak for itself. And I'm so curious to see what Marathon's going to do, because like obviously Arc Raiders has hit the ground and keeps running because Arc Raiders is a fresh idea. It's an incredible world, incredible gameplay loop. Like it was unique enough to get people to go over there. Like I really don't understand why you take Blue Point and make them a live service developer. Even just pull them and help them work on other single player titles that you have in the pipeline right now. Like if you're going to do anything, do that. Like I don't know.
But here's the thing with Blue Point, and I had said this to you before, it's only a studio of 70 people. You're trying to tell me that you couldn't pick from the massive backlog to make a remake, which remakes are, remakes are hitting just as hard as new IP. Remakes are in some of the Game Awards, Game of the Year awards.
Resident Evil 2 remake was a Game of the Year nominee.
Correct. So
And
You're
Final
trying to
Fantasy
tell me.
VII remake and rebirth. So
So with a studio of 70 people, you're trying to tell me that you couldn't pick any one of those to remake that would pay for the 70 people in that studio that has proven itself to be one of the best in the industry of the remakes and make money off of it. I just don't understand it. There's somebody which I can't imagine that, if there would be another Nintendo or Xbox, which Xbox wouldn't do it right now, but would step in and buy that studio, um, to kind of show off what they can do. Because again, you're not talking a studio of thousands of people, it's 70 people to
yeah,
hit this stuff out of the park. And again, you don't have to sell too many games to pay for the 70 people.
no, I. It's just so frustrating. It's like I wanted to be mad at Sony more today, and then everything with Xbox happened, and now my anger split between two. Uh, yeah, I think I 100% agree with you. Like these games, like I said, it has been proven that remasters and remakes are not expensive to produce. They're really not, because you are just taking an already existing project. And like for the Demon Souls remake, you were giving it a fresh coat of paint, very modern, going in and fixing some bugs, touching it up. It was remain largely the same game, just updated for the modern audience. Like it, I don't know. I really don't know what they're doing, because when it comes to this now, with Blue Point got taken off of the live service God of War game, and I imagine the year at like the whole year after, they were pitching IP project ideas to executives and nothing got the ground running. This isn't the only studio that had a live service game canceled, as they already talked about. A studio that comes to mind immediately that I feel like the writing's on the wall at this point is Sony Bend. The last game they released was Days Gone on the PS4, and Days Gone 2 never got greenlit by Sony, and they were actually working on a live service title, and their live service title got axed. Like at this point, is Sony Bend up for removal? Is Media Molecule, the people who made Dreams, like are they up for removal? Like when is it going to be? Is it going to just be this slow bleed of developers? And this isn't just a Sony problem, this is all over the industry, but is it just going to be that these companies are just going to allow a slow bleed of these studios, where I assume the developers within these studios are just cautiously waiting, be like, am I next? Or do you just, at this point, are they just going to go out with a firing squad and fire all them down at once, saying, all right, wait, we're letting all this go, we're cutting to make headway for whatever it's going to be? Like that is like, it's such dark thinking, but that is where I'm thinking at this point, because it has not stopped. The management's trajectory of what they wanted for PlayStation this generation has not worked and is completely backfired in their face. And they're cutting studios to save money, studios that are beloved by many. So I just can't fathom what the thought process here is and what's going to come next.
Yeah, nope, I agree. And again, it's, if you look in and I wish I would have looked at these statistics, but if you go back in the last 5 years, and I'm just guessing this, the last 5 years have to have more remakes than the last 10 years combined. Like I would think in the last 5 years, I would love to look at that statistic,
I'll start looking it up right now if you keep rambling.
but it's true. And then you saw the hype from Oblivion, like Oblivion remake. It got me to play it. I think that the industry is making its money on remakes to fund the big AAA projects. And I think that
Over the
it's
last 5 years, at least 35 notable remakes have been released.
okay. Okay.
And then let me
And
see the last 10.
now don't include the last five. That's the key.
Yeah.
I think the last 5 years you've been, every time you turn around, there's a Last of Us,
Yeah.
but I mean, you saw Skyrim remade how many times to different platforms, and again, I just think that that funds the AAA, and I don't understand why they'd let it go. It's funny because Kobe and I, anybody that's on our Discord saw that, when Kobe and I were planning this week's news podcast, where Blue Point was going to be it. We even put out on our Discord, our thumbnail that was Blue Point, and then Xbox hit. We quickly changed that. But yeah, Blue Point is up there in my opinion. Like, I just don't understand the rationale with some of these studios making these choices.
So
Now, I had said to Kobe, and Kobe said, "Don't quote this," but I'm going to quote it anyway. I read or heard somewhere that even we talked about Bungie, that Sony was starting to absorb some of the Bungie
well,
staff.
I'm going to ask you: are you worried for Bungie with Marathon's release imminent?
Yes, because I'll tell you what I've seen. The reviews of what people are seeing, are they're complaining. They're complaining about how colorful it is, and
I like the art style of it. I think the art style looks cool.
I'm just saying. But they said that the thing with Bungie is going to be the gun feel. Like, that's what sucks everybody in. It's that Halo gunplay. But I don't think that Marathon's going to hit the way they think it's going to hit.
Well, I think so. How do I want to word this? I think it has a higher chance of succeeding because of Arc Raiders. I really do, because it's the same genre. People are now used to extraction shooters. I think Marathon has a sense of aura behind it. Like, I look at this and I'm like, this is a sick looking world. It has a huge voice cast attached to it. That's really cool. The gameplay, is going to be fire because Bungie has always made incredible gunplay. The music has been incredible that they've been releasing. I'm actually kind of excited for Marathon the more and more I see of it. It's just, can Marathon do the thing of pulling people away from Arc Raiders is the question, because Arc Raiders is the king of extractions right now. It's going to be a tough sell. I think it's going to come down to reviews, and it's going to come down to streamer attachment. I think how many people are going to be playing this. And, the funny thing is, I saw this thing online. I kind of agree. It's going to come down to if a certain Peanut who streams likes the game. And you laugh, but that's honestly the Peanut got Arc Raiders to be even more popular than it already was. So if people see the Peanut playing Marathon, I think there's a high chance of it succeeding more. But, I think a lot of people are calling it the next Concord. And obviously we just had High Guard. So, like, there's so many moving pieces. I'm honestly getting tired of reading about gaming news. I'm getting tired of all this negativity. I just want to enjoy games. But, like, I'm worried for Bungie, because unless they have Destiny 3 in the works, where they're releasing Marathon because it's not a full price title, and they say, hey, we have this project to kind of tide us over. We're working on Destiny 3. Just let us get the Destiny 3. That is the only thing I could think of that might be a saving grace for Bungie, is that they have that in the pipeline already.
Well, you owe me so much money from our bets, so I'm not going to say that I want to bet you money, but I'll take a friendly bet with you. I think Marathon's going to tank.
You want to do a pizza bet? I'll order you a pizza from here.
There you
and
go.
You order me a pizza. We'll do a pizza bet.
We'll do a pizza bet.
I think Marathon will find success. I do.
It'll have a little hump in the beginning when it starts, but then it's going to tank.
We'll see the narrative once February 26th hits, because that's when the server slam starts. We'll see what comes out of that, if Marathon's going to have a huge uptake in pre-orders. Bombay says they'll take a pizza, so
I don't know. Would it be a Tommy's Pizza? I don't know what pizza's good over in Jim Thorpe.
I think people like Christina's, if that's still around. Or what's the other one? Angelo? No, I forget what the hell.
What's the one up on the hill going out of Jim Thorpe?
The one up on the hill going out of Jim Thorpe. Oh, yeah. I don't remember. But there's one in downtown Broadway. This is very specific to people who are not who have not seen the area.
I'm with you, Bombay. All pizza's good.
But I think we're gonna have to really wait and see what comes of Sony, what comes of all of this. But I'm really tired of this live service push. I
am too.
I don't know. You can't expect people who already have limited time to go play 12 live service games you want to make. Like, you need 1 or 2 live service games that hit scratch 2 different itches. Like, Yeah, this is crazy. This is all crazy to me. But what isn't crazy is our website. So you can go check that out right here after a word from our website.
Got games you don't play anymore? Turn that collection into cash at activereloadgaming.com. It's fast, it's easy, and you get paid quick. Or if you are looking to buy, check us out on eBay or scroll through our games by console. Find us at activereloadgaming.com.
Wow, that .com is coming back. I love it.
It's making a comeback. I'm going out of order. I want to bring in news that a little bit happy. And for a long-time viewer, Nate Edwards, this one's for you if you watch this later. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green versions are coming to Nintendo Switch in multiple languages. This comes straightly from Nintendo.com. Capture Wild Pokemon recaptured the nostalgic feel of the Game Boy Advance system when the Pokemon Fire Red version and Pokemon Leaf Green version games returned for the first time in over 20 years on the Nintendo Switch systems, also playable on Nintendo Switch 2, for Pokemon Day on February 27th. Each of these digital-only releases are available individually in English, French, or Spanish on My Nintendo Store and Nintendo eShop. New and returning players can celebrate 30 years of Pokemon by exploring the Kanto region and reuniting with some of their favorite Pokemon and characters in their original settings. Longtime fans will enjoy taking a trip back to where it all began, while newcomers can experience firsthand some of the earliest appearances of iconic characters and settings. In these Switch versions of the 2004 remakes of the first Pokemon games, players can encounter the game's original 151 Pokemon, enjoy the classic soundtrack and turn-based gameplay, and meet up with familiar faces like Brock, Misty, Professor Oak, and Giovanni. These classic Game Boy Advanced RPGs feature all of the updates introduced during the Game Boy Advanced era, including abilities, natures, weather conditions, held items, and the ability to select your player character's gender. Nintendo Switch players can also now link up with friends via local co-op without the need to use a Game Link cable like you did in 2004. Get ready to experience the challenges and rewards of Kanto for the first time or the first time in a long time. Each of these versions will retail for $19.99 a piece.
So, Bombay, I know you're a collector as well, and Kobe and I were just talking about this. Does that decrease the original cart's value, or does it increase the original cart's value? And while you're typing that in there, I just got to say, once Nintendo released the Virtual Boy, all bets are off. And now they're releasing
it's Nintendo continues to make weird Nintendo decisions, but Bombay says there's no going down for those games. I'm currently pulling up right now a Pokemon Fire Red cartridge for the Game Boy Advance loose is going for $140. A complete is going for $356, and sealed is $950. I hope they go down. I know Pokemon holds its value, but I'm glad that there's a cheaper option available for people now, because it is kind of ridiculous, I think, to go, if you want to go play an older title, to go spend $140 and
you can emulate. You could go emulate.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's for the people who don't want to go through that process, I'm glad that there's a cheaper alternative. Though I will say $20 per version for a game that old is a little ridiculous. I would expect the $20 for both versions of the games, or $10 a piece, but $20 a piece, making it $40 total if you want both versions, is, I think, a little steep. But it's cool to see that they're bringing back a classic for people to play. Are you going to check it out?
No, I still can't get through the game that Nate gave me. I don't even know where that it's at. It's in my Game Boy over there, the original, whatever.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. I just can't. I don't get the Pokemon phrase. I'm sorry. I try, but I always wonder again when they re-release things, because I could give you, 10 examples of re-releases that dropped the original, whatever it was, prices. That's why I ask. But like I said, they release Virtual Boy. They're going to release anything now.
Bombay asks, will there be trading? And it seems that there is going to be local wireless only, no online trading or battling. So it seems like they're not going to be having that in these versions of the game. So yeah,
well,
I mean,
that's why they'll keep their value of the original cards, because if you can't trade, then
I think you might be able to trade locally, but you can't do it online.
Yeah,
from what it sounds like. But I don't know. It's cool. Like I said, it's cool to see that they're doing it. I expect this Pokemon Day coming up on 27th to be pretty big because I think they're going to be introducing the new Gen 10 for Pokemon with a new mainline game. I think that is definitely in the cards for this. Now, I think you can make fun of a lot of the recent Pokemon releases. So I hope my wish list says this one finally gets voice acting. I feel like finally getting voice acting for the Pokemon will be good. But I'm curious. I am a passive Pokemon person, so I'm very curious to see what Gen 10 looks like. Bombay says I'm okay with that because imagine the eBay postings for shiny Pokemon and how Nintendo would react to that. So not allowing internet-based trades on that are good to me. Yeah, I mean,
everything you just said, the something 10, it's like wah, 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 wah. Like I know nothing about what you're talking about.
Ready? I'll tell you. I'll explain it very simply. You know how essentially Gen 10 is going to usher in a whole new slate of Pokemon cards with new designed Pokemon that have never been seen before. And that Gen 10, a generation usually sometimes it will bring back old returning Pokemon. Like there's always going to be a Pikachu, but it's newly designed Pokemon as well. So there's going to be a whole new slate of them for the game and for the trading cards. So they always try to line up the mainline release game with the cards because, well, it's a moneymaker. You got to do it.
How I don't even know if you can answer this. What's a gen? Like, is it every year, every 5 years, every 10 years? Or is it not a consistent thing? Like, when do you start a new generation of Pokemon?
I'm looking it up right now. It is the introduction of a new region, a fresh set of Pokemon, and in most cases, a new core battle mechanic or game engine update. So it seems like
Nate needed to be on this one.
But yeah.
He had called me and wanted to go game hunting tomorrow. So I'm like, you should have been on here, man.
Yeah. Well, something that you can talk about and have knowledge. Take-Two is very anxious to see a new BioShock game launch alongside the Netflix movie. This is by Joshua Robertson at The Gamer. BioShock has been in a pretty sore state for quite a while now, while BioShock Infinite having released a whopping 13 years ago. We're long overdue for a new game in the series, but there's apparently been a lot of issues over at Take-Two, with a BioShock remake having reportedly been shelved back in 2025. One of the only things about BioShock that has stayed consistent is the fact that a Netflix adaptation of the first movie is currently in production, though meaningful updates on where this project is have been sparse. That being said, we did finally get another update today thanks to a new Collider interview with producer Roy Lee. In the interview, Lee explains that the movie is taking so long to release, claiming that the primary reason is other big movies getting in the way. However, he also suggests that Take-Two would like to have some synergy between the movie side of BioShock and the game side as well. And the publisher might be aiming to launch a game and the adaptation side by side. I don't need to go any further than this, besides the person who's they're currently tapped to make the BioShock movie is Francis Lawrence, who had made The Long Walk and the Hunger Game franchise, and he's currently in post-production for Hunger Games, Songbird of the Reaping of the Songbird, whatever the new one is. I haven't really been keeping up with it, but that's why it's been taking so long. And script writers are currently working on the BioShock movie. But to me, the writing on the wall is the BioShock game's not coming for a long time, especially if they want synergy between a movie release and a game release when the movie is not even in pre-productions and script writing.
Now, I don't know how true this is, and this is me asking, not making a statement, but I heard from the movie side of it that Levine was consulting, even though he has nothing to do with the gaming anymore. But I heard he was consulting on the movie, and that's why it was taking longer than expected. Because we all know how crazy he is with that.
No idea.
This is one of my favorite franchises, and they need to bring it back. And I'm just going to throw this out there: BioShock 2 multiplayer doesn't get the love that it deserves. That multiplayer BioShock 2 was outstanding.
It was definitely underrated for sure.
Yes.
But obviously Cloud Chamber, who has been the development studio behind the new BioShock, has gone through a lot of issues with this game. And last year, during the BioShock remake cancellation, the head of the studio was removed and replaced by Rod Ferguson. So Rod Ferguson, who obviously is of Gears of War fame and recently Diablo 4, is coming in to try to finish up the game. So we'll see. In terms of the Ken Levine stuff, I don't know. I know he's very involved with Judas and trying to get that out the door right now. So
Correct.
whether those rumors are true or not, I can't say at the moment if he's attached to the movie. But it being still so early in production for the movie, like I said, I really, really don't expect to see the new BioShock 4 anytime soon. And at this rate, like, I wouldn't even be surprised if it is that sunk cost fallacy with BioShock 4 that this game has been in development for so long that Take-Two is just wanting to get it out the door. And whether it succeeds or not is to be determined. But like, if I were to put like my tinfoil hat on and conspiracy theory, that I think it's the sunk cost fallacy. I think they spent too much money on this game that they just want to see it and finish it. But I don't foresee a sequel to BioShock 4 once it releases, because I don't think they're going to recoup any of the money that they put into this game and studio, and I think it's going to be the last BioShock that we see.
And that's a shame. But again, get somebody to remake these. I'd love to see these remade.
Well, I mean, clearly, I just said they were remaking one, but it got shelved.
Correct.
So,
but that, going back to the Blue Point, like, get a company to remake it and keep the studio. But to me, when you look at BioShock, it is such a unique story, unique, game that it's such a shame that thing fell apart, because it was one of my favorite franchises. Yeah. In fact, when I bought my Switch 2, that was the first game I played in it. You would think you're going to play Mario Kart or something. I put BioShock in and played it. It's just, to me, one of my favorite franchises. Yeah. And they need to continue it. That just somebody needs it. There's so many IP out there. And with the movie side of it, I called this about 2 years ago, that video games are going to be the new source for movies. Comic books were the source for the last 10, 15 years. I'm glad to see they're going to start using, and I think you're going to start seeing source material be more video games, and done the right way.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of video games, Bombay reminds me, and I do want to make a public service announcement, that Resident Evil 9 has leaked in its entirety. All the spoilers for the game are out on the internet, so beware if you do not want to be spoiled, because I have not seen any spoilers. I'm avoiding it at all costs. I have Resident Evil muted on all my socials. So be warned, because the entire game and what it entails and Leon's story is fully out there, so beware. Yeah, we'll go a little off topic quick before I head into the last article. Bombay asks, thoughts on Silent Hill Townfall only being $50. Good.
Yeah, I think that studios that come out and drop their price will sell more. Because again, the economy's tough right now, man. I don't think everybody has $70 plus to keep, throwing out of their pocket. And when you have a, AAA title like that, dropping it to 50, I think it's good. I think it's good for the industry.
I think the industry needs to adopt flexible payment models at this point. Like, you don't need to have a $70 game every time. Like, you evaluate the production cost, you evaluate the length of the game. Like, hell, even the length of the game doesn't matter. Expedition 33 launched at $50 and it had commercial and critical success. So like, I think having cheaper games allows a less barrier to entry, which is good. It keeps the industry healthy, keeps games going forward. And Silent Hill Townfall it is skipping Xbox, so it is only on PS5 and PC. There will be a physical copy on PS5 for physical collectors. But yeah, I'm excited for Townfall. Really excited. And yeah, I'm curious to see what they cook up.
And I always have the statement, just because you can doesn't mean you have to. So just because you can charge $70 doesn't mean you have to charge $70.
Remember when Outer Worlds 2 was going to be 80? They quickly ran that back. Yeah.
Yeah, they announced it at 80, and then
they walked it back.
Phil Spencer came back and walked it back.
Yeah. All right. Next up is The Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be powered by a new version of the Creation Engine. This comes from Kotaku, and it comes from an interview with Kinda Funny Games. Bethesda creative director Todd Howard explained that Elder Scrolls 6 is a return to the kind of game that the studio is known for, and will be powered by a new version of Bethesda's Creation Engine, noted as Creation Engine 3.0. In the interview on February 18th, Howard admitted to host Greg Miller that Starfield and Fallout 76 were departures from the open world RPGs fans expect from them. And with Elder Scrolls 6, it sounds like they are going back to the classic style that fans know and love. In many ways, Fallout 76 and Starfield are a little bit of a creative detour from kind of that classic Elder Scrolls Fallout where you are exploring a world in a certain way, Howard said. As we come back to Elder Scrolls 6 that we are doing now, we are coming back to that classic style that we missed, that we know really, really well. We have a style of game we really, really like that people expect from us, and there's a lot of innovation to be done there still. So when you step into a world, you feel like you are experiencing it for the first time. We're happy with where Elder Scrolls 6 is heading right now. We've spent the last several years bringing Creation Engine 2, which powers Starfield, up to Creation Engine 3, which is going to power Elder Scrolls 6 and beyond. So, what do you think about it? They're not backing down from Creation Engine. They're going to keep with it. So,
as long as they update it, I'm fine with it. Like, again, a lot of these older engines, they just keep milking it, and it just doesn't stand up. But if they're going to update it, I'm fine. I'm 100% fine with it. Everything in the world doesn't have to run off of Unreal 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as long as they update it, that it makes it look current gen, by all means, do it.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. I'm sure the graphics are going to improve, but I want to know the inherent game engine and the core logic that powers these games. How are they going to update it? Are they going to, I want to know, in the modern era of RPGs where you had the likes of Baldur's Gate 3, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Witcher 3, Cyberpunk, I want to know how Bethesda is going to elevate their classic style, as they're calling it, to the modern era. I really want to see what that looks like. I hope Elder Scrolls 6 is going to innovate in a huge way. And I hope that the engine that they're building for it is going to power that to make it the best possible Bethesda game that they can put out.
Well, again, that's echoing almost what I said. As long as it's updated to current gen, I'm all behind it to keep it. If that's going to make their development time quicker and it's going to make it easier for them, but it's got to look next gen. It has to. They just can't rely on going back, and because that engine's been tired for quite some time. They milked a full generation and a half out of that engine.
Even with Creation Engine 2.0 and Starfield, I didn't think it upgraded as much as it should have. I mean, they got vehicles working, but the amount of loading screens still, it was such an outdated philosophy that they really need to go and patch it up and make it so that you can seamlessly explore the world, as many new RPGs do. So yeah, we'll see. Elder Scrolls 6 is still very far away, according to Todd Howard as well. And another quick thing for all the Square Enix Nier video game fans out there, just wanted to quickly say that today they announced that Nier Automata is going to have a continuation of the story in their 9th anniversary announcement. So Nier fans are rejoicing in the streets.
Stay tuned for that.
But that is it for today. So much has happened this week. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed.
I'm ready to go play a game, but I do want to know, is Cherry Tomato Boy still in chat?
I haven't seen him.
If he is, I want to give a shout out as a happy birthday to Cherry Tomato Boy.
Oh my God, you're doxing this person.
Not doxing. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows how old he is.
Oh my God.
Just a shout out to Cherry Tomato to a happy birthday.
Number one fanboy over here. Well, either ways, thank you to all who have joined this Father and Son Gaming News podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. To all those who watch after, let us know how we did in the comments and how you feel about all the news that has come out. And to all those who see us later, you can follow us on all of our socials right here. Make sure you give a like and comment and subscribe on YouTube. Then you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Spotify at Active Reload Gaming. If you find us on Twitch, you can follow us there at Active Rel Gaming. That's with an REL. Then Twitter or X, we're at Active Rel with an REL. Again, Active Rel Gaming. You can do that. You can go scan that QR code in the top left corner and get into our Discord and start chatting with us. So next week is Resident Evil 9. Stay tuned for all of that. It's going to be a bit.
Oh, we just lost Kobe.
Hello?
Are you there? Oh
yeah.
My goodness. Wow. I do want to say that that
You're in the
tune in.
driver's seat now.
Yeah, tune in Monday because we have a great podcast that we're going to talk about games that are going to be launching in March. March is going to be stacked for the games.
Perry Tomato Boy says thank you, but you're going to get his identity stolen. I agree. It's
There
coming.
you go.
It's
There
coming
you
at
go.
this point. So, either ways, thank you all, and we will catch you all next time. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.